Uh, Everything. All right. I want to get this out of the way too with this other stuff. But
I mean,
I see that Fox and CNBC, all these news organizations, CNN, of course, and them
are
are lying about this, calling it protests and everything else.
And it's just
a bullshit. Really pisses me off that
they're calling
this protest and everything. And
a guy from
National Security that used to work on National Security Council. It's not about the military and stuff like that, where they can't even enforce some of the laws. It's like, they can enforce some of the stuff. They can enforce some things.
And
my question is, why do they have a dumb, stupid national security consultant on there instead of law professor? Even some law professors, from different universities. They're all mumbling and stuff like that, and they don't know what they're talking about.
So
anyways, I wanted to get into this. 1500. They deployed the National Guard deployed. Elon Musk. So let's get to this as well. All this could go to ICE in Boston makes nearly 1,500 arrests. That's pretty damn good.
But the bottom line is that ICE and its federal partners wouldn't be able to conduct large-scale operations like this without the partnership you see up here. But more importantly, if sanctuary cities would change their policies and turn these violent criminal aliens over to us into our custody, instead of releasing them into the public, we would not have to go out to the communities and do this. Boston's my hometown, and it really shocks me that officials all over Massachusetts would rather release sex offenders, fentanyl dealers, drug dealers, human traffickers, and child rapists back into the neighborhoods.
That's right.
All too often in Massachusetts and all over the Commonwealth, people use ICE's operations as a talking point, which it shouldn't be. It should be public safety all around.
Right.
But instead, the brave men and women of ICE, CBP, ATF, DEA, Diplomatic Security Service, and the U.S. Marshals have to go out and pick up some of the most horrible criminals that are roaming free in Massachusetts. These are just some of them. A child sex offender that was previously deported, that was released by a local agency, but was back living across the street from a playground. A sex trafficker that was arrested for raping a child, that was re-released back into the community. A habitual drunk driver who, in the midst of his drunk driving, kidnapped a child. Theft from, we had one person that was previously deported that was stealing from disabled senior citizens. Not only that, but they got several convicted murderers, rapists, spouse abusers, child abusers, and drug traffickers. You can see their mugshots, which are all up here on the photo. And I really want everyone to see that. Because not only did they enter our country illegally, but they were released back into our community by elected officials and sanctuary jurisdictions that did not want to turn these individuals over to ICE. I really want everyone to see their faces and know what's going on.
That is fucking crazy.
So make no mistake, ICE is going to keep doing this. This operation proved that we need to be more. While this operation was going on,
this is just crazy where the Democrats, it wasn't called Democrats, and I hate both sides. There's plenty of stuff I hate about both sides. Politics of Democrats, but there's no excuse for hiding child rapists, sexual abusers, drug pushers, stuff like that, fentanyl,
murderers, and robbers and stuff like that. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. Some of these politicians are making money, profit off of illegals and stuff like that. Some of these politicians like Aurora, Colorado, and stuff like that are making money off of it. And housing mandates kick Americans out. They get subsidies from the government and stuff. And they house a lot of people just in one house, like 30 people. And they make all this money off of them and stuff like that. This is the problem with politicians and everything. That they're making somebody. They want the votes. They want the votes. This is about votes. They don't care about the people. They don't care if people lose jobs or anything.
And the brave men and women from all these agencies were out conducting operations. More criminal aliens were being released into the community. We did this already once. We saw a large number in a week time, but that just showed we needed to come back. And we're going to keep coming back, because ICE is going to make sure that we keep our community safe and keep our neighborhood safe from these sex offenders and these criminal aliens. But not only are we going to keep the community safe, my goal is to keep my officers and agents and also the criminal aliens safe, because we'd rather arrest them in a local jurisdiction where it only takes 2 officers or agents and they can turn them over to us in a safe environment, rather than us going back out into the community and then these criminal aliens be released back in our neighborhoods. So with that, I'll turn it over to U.S. Attorney Leah Foley.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for being here. As you know, the top priority of the U.S. Attorney's Office has been and will remain protecting the citizens of Massachusetts. And this month-long enforcement surge, led by ICE, has made our communities safer. Since January 20th, our office has charged well over 50 foreign nationals who unlawfully re-entered our country after being deported. This includes 15 individuals charged in the last month alone. These individuals violated our immigration laws when they entered the United States unlawfully, often multiple times. Some went on to commit serious crimes. Those arrested included individuals who pumped deadly narcotics into our neighborhoods, trafficked firearms for transnational criminal organizations, defrauded the government benefit programs, and in some cases preyed on vulnerable children. These are defendants who didn't simply cross a border, they crossed the line and jeopardized the safety of Massachusetts communities. When someone who is here illegally chooses to engage in crime, when they bring fentanyl into our neighborhoods, sell firearms to gangs, or assume false identities to collect benefits intended for vulnerable Americans, these are not immigrants. They are criminals, and they will be treated as such. This is about public safety, plain and simple. Our job is to protect the public, to prevent harm, and to uphold the rule of law. My office will continue to prioritize the prosecution of individuals who are in this country unlawfully and those who pose a threat to our community. Just as I said when I first became U.S. Attorney, if you threaten the safety of our residents, we will find you. We will hold you accountable, and when appropriate, we will remove you from this country. This is the land of opportunity, not the land for opportunists. Enough is enough. When we will hold you accountable for when you commit crimes in this jurisdiction. My office will continue to support and work with ICE to bring charges against those who come here illegally.
This is something where I'm going over some of the previous news here. And the governor says, News Scum says that National Guard troops will escalate tensions. The thing is, they're not going to respect law enforcement. They don't care about law enforcement. They don't care if these illegals are committing crimes. They don't give a shit about that. They got them over here for the vote. They give them all this free stuff, free money, free, rent with that, food stamps, EBT, stuff like that, rent, and housing as well. And so, there's to be tensions because they're losing all these benefits. These people. They're losing all these benefits. So, it's going to escalate tensions because
We want to get,
the
the
bad ones at least out of here
and everything.
That's what
we're
supposed to do.
I mean,
if you're doing good, you got your own job, stuff like that. I mean,
and you're not
taking our jobs.
I
don't really care. I really don't.
But I'm talking
But
about,
I'm talking about all these other people that would get a lot of free ride,
and
people that especially news here.
Including Fox
and other stations
are saying,
we're going after good, decent people.
That's just
a bunch of bullshit, really.
And
the news is not putting out,
the
factual information
and stuff
like that. So
and commit crimes. Equally as important, I also want to add that we will not tolerate anyone who impedes or obstructs ICE operations. What I have seen on the news and in social media is concerning, to say the least. Agents' safety is paramount, and it is a felony to threaten or assault a federal agent.
It is.
I want to be clear about that. No one is above the law. This is non-negotiable. The law in this area is clear, and I will not sit idly by and watch federal agents being threatened. I also want to thank our partners at ICE and HSI, as well as our federal, state, and local law enforcement agency partners. They tirelessly work collaboratively to stand by each other and to make our community safer. Today, we are announcing real progress. However, we are not done. We are only getting started. And I would like to introduce Patricia Hyde.
Good morning. Thank you, U.S. Attorney Foley. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts is a safer place today, thanks to the work and determination of the men and women of ICE and our federal law enforcement partners. Working together, we were able to arrest almost 1,500 illegal aliens throughout the Commonwealth during the month of May, most of whom have significant criminality in the United States or abroad. Throughout this enhanced immigration enforcement operation, ICE and our federal partners targeted the most dangerous alien offenders in some of the most crime-infested neighborhoods of Massachusetts.
Do you hear that?
They're going after the most violent offenders.
They're not going
after peaceful people that are minding their own business
or making
their own way.
She said
that right there. Disclaimer. They're going after the most violent offenders.
Something
that the news agencies are not really reporting.
Our efforts resulted in the arrests of 1,461 criminal alien offenders. 277 of those offenders have been ordered removed from the United States by a Justice Department immigration judge. Make no mistake.
So they got
every person we arrested was breaking our immigration laws. But most of these individuals, 790 to be exact, had significant criminality as well. That is 790 alien offenders who victimized innocent people, who traumatized entire communities. Represented in these numbers are murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, child sex predators, and members of violent transnational criminal gangs. We arrested criminal aliens who have been convicted of violent crimes in the United States, and some of who were wanted for criminality in their native countries. All made the mistake of attempting to subvert justice by hiding out in Massachusetts. I want to take this opportunity to say to our officers and law enforcement partners, thank you for your professionalism, tenacity, and dedication to duty. To the residents of our Massachusetts communities, today your streets are a little safer. To the victims of these alien offenders, know that today you will not be mistreated by your attackers. To any criminal alien offenders victimizing Massachusetts residents, ICE is not going away. We are coming for you. While removing these individuals is extremely gratifying, we still have a lot of work to do. While we covet a mutually beneficial cooperative relationship with our state and local partners, we will work around them when it becomes necessary to ensure the safety and security of Massachusetts. ICE and our federal law enforcement partners remain committed to protecting our communities and prioritizing the well-being of our public by locating, arresting, and removing criminal alien offenders and making our New England communities a safer place to live. Now, Special Agent in charge.
Disclaimer, criminal aliens,
Thank you.
Good morning, I think it is. My sincere thanks to Director Lyons, U.S. Attorney Foley, and all of our partners with whom I stand shoulder to shoulder with every day to ensure the safety and security of our communities. ICRO, CBP, U.S. Coast Guard, ATF, DEA, DSS, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, the IRS, U.S. Attorney's Office, and many others.
Move on.
Today, as we announce the arrest of nearly 1,500 illegal aliens over the last 30 days, I want to reiterate, this is not a victory lap. Today is a collective reaffirmation of our commitment to ensuring the public safety and national security of our communities. With each agency bringing unique authorities and expertise, HSI special agents will continue.
So let's see the Tom Homan.
Sending about 2,000 guards to Los Angeles after violence ensued in these anti-ICE protests. A car was set on fire yesterday. These areas include LA's Fashion District and at a Home Depot as the week-long tally of immigrant arrests in the city has climbed to more than 100, including a prominent union leader who was arrested while protesting and accused of impeding law enforcement. Confrontations continuing to break out, and we know that another rally is expected to get underway later on this afternoon. We are monitoring this live look and all the situations there out of LA. Previously, Border Czar Tom Homan spoke about deploying the National Guard on the big weekend show, and I did want to play out some of his remarks for you right now.
Responding to these protests, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Look, we're going to continue doing our job. And yesterday, we got 118 arrests. You know, I was out here yesterday to kick off this operation. And what people aren't talking about is ICE served, you know, several warrants yesterday. These are criminal warrants. This is a criminal investigation. And today, we're continuing operations. They're not going to shut us down. We're out there right now doing operations. We're going to keep doing operations. We brought in more resources to push back the protesters, but I'll say it again, a serious warning. You can protest all you want. You got your First Amendment rights. But if you cross that line of impediment, or you put hands on officers, or destroy property, you will be prosecuted. There's zero tolerance on crossing that line, and that's what we're standing by. We're bringing more resources as we speak. We'll have more resources tonight. We're going to continue doing the job that American people voted Donald Trump in office to do, and we're not going to apologize for doing it.
Tom, it's Alicia Acuna. Again, thank you so much for being here. During the protest yesterday,
Riots.
City Council members called for mobilization against ICE. Listen.
They know how quickly we mobilize. That's why they're changing tactics. Because community defense works, and our resistance has slowed them down before. And if they're escalating tactics, then so are.
God, she's fat. Oh my God. What a bunch of blubber. Jesus Christ. I'm surprised she's able to get up. As fat as she is. I'm surprised. All that blubber. But this is things that people on the inside are leaking stuff. I think those people should be executed for doing that. I believe that they should make laws where you get executed. People that are leaking this stuff, it puts law enforcement, ICE at risk and stuff like that.
When they show up, we gotta show up even stronger.
So, Tom, will the Trump administration take action against these public officials who are threatening ICE agents with resistance?
That's a felony.
I think Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice is looking at that. And, like I said many times, these elected officials or these non-government organizations, they can't cross the line either. I mean, we got people like, Hakeem Jeffries saying he's going to dox ICE employees. You know, ICE agents out there with masks on. They're wearing masks to protect themselves and their families because they've been doxxed, their family's been doxxed, their life's been threatened, their families have been threatened. I know myself, I had over 1,000 protesters at my house. I expect that as the borders are, but these men and women are putting their lives online every day. They arrested a lot of bad people yesterday and today. They arrested child sex offenders. They arrested people convicted of robbery. They arrested public safety, not only significant public safety threats, but national security threats. They arrested gang members. We're making Los Angeles safer. And Mayor Bass ought to be thanking us for making her city safer. And the term migrant, as Joe Concha rightfully said earlier, they're illegal aliens. There are illegal aliens in this country, and we welcome. We're the most giving country in the world. But these are illegal aliens who committed a crime by crossing this border illegally, then yet committed another crime. Again, yesterday's about a criminal investigation into money laundering, tax evasion, and some of the funds going to cartels in Colombia that fund their operations of sending narcotics to this country, killing American people. This is about enforcing the law. And again, we're not going to apologize for doing it. We're stepping up. She says they're going to mobilize. Well, guess what? We're already ahead of the game. We're already mobilizing. We're going to bring National Guard in tonight. We're going to continue doing our job. We're going to push back on these people, and we're going to force the law.
Tom, it's Lydia Hu, and I want to ask you a little bit more about these Democrat demands that ICE agents be unmasked. Some Democrats are saying that if they don't unmask, they're threatening to dox them. Listen to this.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131.
These bitches here, these cunts here, are the ones that are doing it. These bitches are the ones that are doing it. They're doxing some of these people here, which is totally illegal as well. They should be put into prison. Or worse.
One routinely wears masks, sending masked men to snatch, kidnap, and disappear immigrants of all legal statuses across the country.
Every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Tom, I wonder if you can speak to that a little bit. Explain to us more, help everyone understand the threat that our ICE agents are facing by just doing their job, why they need to wear these masks, and also what actions need to be taken against Democrats who are demanding that they be unmasked, and what would happen if they do dox them and publish their identities.
Look, it's incredible. We're at a place where the guys, the men and women who enforce the law, they're the bad guys, and the ones who break law. How come they didn't say anything about BLM? They're out there. They were a mask. How about the protesters, all the college campers? They were protesting against Israel and the Jewish students. They were wearing masks. I didn't hear a word about that for these protesters wearing masks. But ICE agents are wearing masks for one reason, because the assault on ICE officers is up over 400%. The assault on ICE officers. They're being doxxed across the country. And their families are being attacked. Their families are being doxxed. Their families are being threatened. And I certainly understand it. I allow death threats. I've been doxxed. My family's been doxxed. I understand it. But they're wearing masks for one reason only: protect themselves and their families. They're doing a dangerous job. This is already a dangerous job. They got to wear guns every day because they're doing a dangerous job every day. While the rest of these people, like Hakeem Jeffries, are sleeping in his bed at night at 3 a.m., nice and comfortably and safe, there's men and women of ICE on the street doing surveillance on significant public safety threats, really bad characters, and national security threats. They're taking it on every day. The men and women of Border Patrol standing on a dirt trail every night at 3 a.m. taking on the bad guy. So this is another threat against ICE agents, and we're asking the Department of Justice to look at these statements and see if there's something we can do. When do you cross that line on threatening ICE officers? And here's the problem. You know, you got all these people now attacking ICE. You saw they're writing death to ICE agents. ICE agents been threatened. Their families been threatened. And you got members of Congress. You got some judges out there that compare ICE to the KKK, ICE to the Nazis. You got city council people saying ICE are terrorists. They're feeding the hatred. And here's my concern. I've been doing this for a long time. It's a matter of time.
They should be executed for treason.
They should. Takes a life, or an ICE agent loses their life because the rhetoric is at an all-time high and is being fed by people who should be more responsible. Elected officials especially, who keep firing up this rhetoric. I'm telling you, it's coming. There's going to be a tragedy because they keep throwing gas on this flame.
Tom, it's Guy Benson. Good of you to be with us this evening. The U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi just announced yesterday that Kilmar Abrego Garcia, another now familiar name in this whole wider drama, has actually been brought back to the United States after being deported to El Salvador. Here she is detailing his alleged crimes.
Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country.
And Tom, in spite of these details, some Democrats are still on the bandwagon here, it seems. Watch this.
The Trump administration and all his cronies who should apologize to the country for putting us through this.
You should be apologizing to the country for allowing terrorists to come in, sex offenders, human traffickers, drug traffickers, everything, rapists, and all these other people to come in. You're at fault for that. You're a real piece of shit, and I think you should be executed for treason. You all should be executed for treason for doing that. All of you should be executed for that. All of you.
This unnecessary situation, and to Abrego Garcia for putting him through this situation.
Otherwise, he has a status which is withhold deportation.
Now they're trying to act like he's some kind of drug lord or human trafficker.
He is.
He's also a wife. This image on X yesterday showing how some in the liberal media just insist on calling him the Maryland man or the Maryland father. There's a big exception there on your screen, which is Fox News. And as you just heard in that montage, Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, the biggest cheerleader for this man in Congress, went on national television, if CNN qualifies, and said that the President of the United States should apologize to Kilmar Abrego Garcia. What's your reaction to that?
Go fuck yourselves.
Van Hollen's an embarrassment to the halls of Congress. He went over and collared an MS-13 gang member, a designated terrorist, a wife beater, and a public safety threat. And as we continue to do the investigation, now he's a human trafficker who trafficked not just guns and weapons, but people, trafficking of women and children. So he's going to pay. We're going to prosecute him. So we're bringing him back here to prosecute him. We're bringing him back here to put him in prison. Then when he's done in prison, guess what? He'll be deported immediately again. Did any of these people ever meet with Angel mom and dad? Van Hollen had a young mother with 5 children murdered by an illegal alien. Did he ever meet with them? Did he ever meet with the victims, the hundreds of victims of illegal alien crime? No. He's an embarrassment to halls of Congress. He's an embarrassment to the position he holds. President Trump don't owe anybody an apology. President Trump in 7 weeks gave us the most secure border in the history of this nation. President Trump is arresting thousands of public safety threats in this country every day.
These stupid ass newscasters ain't doing that.
One illegal alien criminal at a time. And like I said, despite what's going on in L.A., I'm here now. We're continuing operations today. We're going to do this job every single day. We won't be stopped. President Trump is a game changer. I worked for 6 presidents starting with Ronald Reagan. When it comes to national security, border security, immigration enforcement, public safety, no one has done better than President Trump. His success is unprecedented, not only on the border, but in taking national security threats and illegal alien public safety threats out of this nation. I wake up every day proud to work for President Trump, and we're going to keep doing the job that he promised the American people he would do, and the American people voted for him to do. We're going to keep his promise to American people, no apologies.
And the numbers prove that, Tom. We see that border crossings are down more than 95% without 1 inch of the wall being built as the big, beautiful bill goes through Congress. Rhetoric alone is keeping people coming into this country, and obviously the job you're doing in terms of deportations. We thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Tom Homan.
All right, let's see here. That pretty much. These routes are there. I got people. Let's see some sweet. There's Donald Trump
Great job, National Guard. Los Angeles 2 days of violence, crashes, unrest. Yeah, the incompetent piece of shit governor. And Mayor Bass. New scum right there. He's worse than that. Just like how they handled the fires. Now they're very slow permitting disaster, which they did. They enabled it. He should be burned on fire for what he's done to this place and everything. Federal committee complete. Unable to handle the task, these radical left protests by instigators. Paid troublemakers will not be tolerated. Also, from now on, masks will not be allowed. I don't think he can dictate that, but anyways, from a law point of view, what do these people have to hide and why? Again, thinking National Guard, etc. So
coming to see if their loved ones are being held. Some people have no idea. There are LAU.
I have to be fair. That one guy that said that his girlfriend, they took his girlfriend that was a naturalized citizen. If that is true, and stuff like that, there's a big wrong in that. A big mistake, mistakes can be made all the time. Yeah. And if there's a mistake, it needs to be called out if they ever get the wrong people. Definitely do.
These students that are here or have been already deported or taken to other states. So the fear is real. I've had people from the school district reach out saying that there's kids that have been detained. Students that go to school in our community. So no, we're here.
They're taking our tax dollars that we are feeding, that are giving health care to. All this money that's being wasted on them that Americans should have. And stuff like that. Instead it's going to them, special treatment. And it should be going to Americans first, you know. It should be going to an entitled group of people that are here illegally.
It every single day. We know what's at stake. Anything else?
Keep in mind, a lot of those kids, you don't know who their real parents are, if they're so-called parents or the real parents even. There's a lot of child trafficking happening with illegals that have been, crossing the border. Up to 500,000 kids that have been trafficked. And these pieces of shit, don't bother to talk about that.
Go ahead. Nazi Germany.
Nazi Germany.
It happened, and you can see, take a look at the middle of your...
Not fair game, even though he's just a kid, even though he's just a high school student.
Even then, I think that's a drastic way.
We're hearing from a number of other advocates speaking in support of this teenager right there, and I did want to play out just a little bit of that for you right now.
This when it comes to grabbing high school students off the street?
I mean, I would like to say a lot of things, but what's arable? I would like to say that I hope the lesson that's taken from this, if there is a lesson, is don't come after members of our community. Target the bad guys if there's bad guys. Or also, let the criminal justice system do its work. Immigration court is not meant to be a criminal justice system. It's not set up for that. So if you want to make our community safer, show me. This is not that.
Actually, it is. On purpose, targeting, because of how high profile this case was?
I think it was because they don't have enough beds because so many people are detained. They initially were wanting to transfer him to Plymouth, but there wasn't a bed. So he was held there for 5 days, which is about 4 3/4 days longer than he should have been and normally would have been.
And why was he moved to isolation? Do you have any idea?
I'll tell you that.
continue to monitor this live look, and the Department of Justice now saying that this man
follow. But my hat's off to the men and women who are standing out there who, they just want to go home tonight. And they don't deserve to have rocks thrown at them. They certainly don't deserve the insults that they're going to get. But we've all heard them. We've all, endured that. But the line is drawn when the language starts turning threatening, and then it's followed by violence. And that has to be put down. That has to be stopped immediately.
So, Ken, how does one stop it? It seems like it's almost beyond reason at this point for so many individuals. It's so visceral. And when you get to that point, logic, doesn't necessarily come into play. From a security standpoint, from a law enforcement standpoint, where does one go?
Yeah, well, I like the way you put that, because you said it doesn't seem like logic comes into play here, and it doesn't. So you're not going to reason with anarchists and people who've come to protest ICE. I mean, the opportunity to reason with them is probably already gone. And so you have to monitor that crowd, and you have to have a show of force in place ready to do what needs to be done. And the moment that it turns violent, they have to be subdued, and they need to face justice. Now, justice in this country is not always fair. We see people that are getting away with things that they shouldn't be getting away with, and others who aren't even charged because there's not enough law enforcement, or not the politically charged law enforcement that needs to be in place. So that's a tough thing, but they have to be prepared. They have to have the numbers present, and then they have to actually go in and do that job. So their leaders have to back them up. We have rules in place. The leaders are, supposedly swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, and that's where all that authority eventually comes from.
Maybe more of a technical question, Ken, but who has jurisdiction when it comes to, this particular scene? We see both the National Guard's troops and local police officers right there. So who has the final say in determining what happens?
Yeah, sometimes that's a tricky question too.
That's a great one.
That's also a great at the White House that if you jump the White House fence, then you get arrested by the Secret Service, and that's who ends up having that jurisdiction and charging you. If you committed a crime on the sidewalk, it was the park police that had that jurisdiction, not the Secret Service, and it depended on what it was. And then if you did it on the street, so all within about a 4-foot span, you had 3 different jurisdictions, all with the ability to make an arrest depending on what the infraction or the crime was. I suspect out in LA you have something similar to there. If they're at the VA hospital, they're probably on federal ground, which would make it a federal crime to commit a crime there. But you also have state and local jurisdictions that could charge someone as well. So instead of looking at it as confusion, I look at it as you have a lot of opportunity from multiple jurisdictions.
Honestly, you do have federal land. You could be charged by federal statutes as well as state. If federal authorities arrested them, and then local law enforcement came or whatever, I can see them both add charges for that legally. But
to charge someone, to arrest someone if they break the law.
And how long might the National Guardsmen be deployed to this particular area? Is it for a day? Is it for a finite amount of time? How does that work?
Yeah, it's usually for a finite amount of time. The executive order will be signed and typically has an expiration date on it. So, I'd have to look at that to tell you exactly what that is. But you would hope that given that these are just emotional outbursts, that the emotion dies down and the people just
violent outbursts.
If law enforcement is allowed and enabled to do their job, some of that emotion gets taken out the next time this comes up, because now they've had to pay the fine for being arrested and going to court.
Ken, before we let you go, is there anything else that you would want to share with us from your background as we're taking a live look here at National Guardsmen and police officers at the ready? I mean, they are fully decked out. They are taking this incredibly seriously, as one does when you're talking about a public safety issue right here. But, you know, anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
You know, it is heartening to me in a good way that the FBI is the largest and enforcement agency, and I came from Secret Service. We're just so small. We have a very forthright with American law enforcement, state and local and federal, to say we've got your back is a huge deal. For President Trump to come out and say, and I'll support you with the National Guard. That's got to feel good. You know, American law enforcement, state and local and federal, to say we've got your back is a huge deal. For President Trump to come out and say, and I'll support you with the National Guard, that's got to feel good. You know, there was nothing like doing your job, looking over your shoulder and seeing the backing that you needed to do your job. And so I applaud them for doing that. I pray for these men and women that are out on the front lines doing their time, not getting paid enough to face the kind of ridiculous emotional crowds that they're facing. And you know, pray for the country that we wake up and realize what a precious gift we've been given to be able to live in this country with the freedoms that we have. But there are boundaries for those. There are rules and there are laws that we have to follow. And so I pray that people will wake up to that.
Ken, as always, we appreciate you joining us here on Live Now from Fox, sharing your expertise and your perspective.
Yeah, most welcome. Thank you.
They need to wear these masks, and also what actually.
I'll go and see. Let me see here. Let's see Express TV. Let's see what they got. APT TV, that's his white fringe on his. Let's go.
So you've been trying to keep everything.
So they're out there. They're ready to cause trouble, obviously. I say protest or else they won't. You know, that's the only way they'll show up. You gotta say riot, which it is, rioting and stuff. Right, so. Let's see here.
We are not a third world country.
Where's Oreo? Where's Oreo?
Oh, shut up.
Can't let that happen.
Where's Oreo? That's who you hang out with, Joe. Why don't you admit it? You're a fucking Proud Boy.
I have friends.
Have they let you in yet?
Come illegal,
Are they not going to let you in, Joe? Are your white supremacist friends not going to let you become a Proud Boy?
Somebody knock their ass out, please.
You're standing next to a Proud Boy. I just want you to know that.
$20. Knock the bitch out.
Oh, I don't know who she is.
Somebody needs fucking money. Money's food.
So, I'm here to support my community.
Oh, yeah.
I was born and raised here, and
New York Post, shout out to them. Got this hoodie.
Nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide.
You ain't got
nothing to hide. Yeah.
it's like they have something farming in the middle. Looks like they have some action farming in the middle.
So I mean, I just like kind of waiting. I don't know, man. So there she is, still bad.
Yeah, this guy in the end right here is always armed. We have to cut her off.
She's just crazy. She's just crazy.
Caravan's coming in probably.
Don't hee-haw with that guy. Why are you guys hee-hawing?
You know why she's there, right? Nobody gives a shit about that bitch. Nobody does. Nobody wants to listen to her. Her family hates her. Her parents think she's a fucking loser. She's a mental fuck up. I think that I could be fucked up sometimes with my issues. But geez, I mean, her whole family must hate her, tell her to leave the house because she's sticking it up and everything. When it's coming out of her mouth. It's like, geez, they just take it out of this poor guy because nobody wants to hear her. Look at that. Nobody's had nothing to do with her. The thing is, these guys ain't gonna respect any of this unless you get forceful with them. These forceful. I mean, they just don't. Your Constitution, your support. Oh my God.
What is wrong with you?
You're a prophet too.
Don't fucking believe anything out of that
I've heard all this language. This ain't nothing new to me. I've heard foul language everywhere, dude. I'm from the streets, so.
No borders, no walls. No borders, no walls. Hey, someone in my chat said camo isn't working. We can still see you.
This is what happens to your family. People kick you out. They go somewhere like this, and then they spat out there. I want to get some more foods here. Chad's disabled. That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Look at this.
Look at this. Rats will come out of the holes.
I'm glad they
have it disabled.
And we, of course, can't hear these demonstrators from the helicopter, but I'm zooming in just to get a better sense of their body language and how they are currently moving through the streets of downtown LA. We did see some people earlier raising their fists. It looked like they might have been chanting in unison. For now, we just see them holding up these signs, waving banners, waving different flags. In the center of the screen here, there's actually somebody waving an American flag. We've seen a few Mexican flags as well. We can see flags from South American and Central American countries. So it looks like a mixed bag of people, but all standing in unity with a similar message of protest today.
same place.
And yet they come into our communities with their face covered.
So do you.
And they ask us, look away. ICE asked us to look away, but we're not going to look away.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, I got my own middle cross, but I listen to their shit. It's like,
Guys and women are part of LA. What the hell are you doing?
Versus started with Roe versus Wade being overturned. Now it's immigration rights. Then
you don't have any rights. You have no rights. Came here illegally.
it's civil rights. This is what we're seeing. And now.
It's different future. I don't see any of these twats being getting felonies like they're supposed to, unfortunately. I can see stuff happening here. I can see stuff happening. It's just a matter of time before stuff happens. Metro Rail, shout out. I wonder who's going to be using it, though, this stuff happening. I mean, I've used these things before. Metro League, LA bus system, I've used it. A lot of crazy people, mentals on them. People you don't want to be around on these things, but just kind of throw it out there. But or if anybody's even using around there, visit they have to use it. Some people have to get food, they have to get medications, so they're going to have to use it if they have to.
We saw this group of protesters march right past CHP officers who were standing on the 101 off-ramp a couple minutes ago. It'll be interesting to see how they interact with the station outside that building once they arrive.
I turned down the volume because of the other side. People were too loud. I'm 50% deaf or over, so. What happens if these other people crossing the street and stuff like that? I need to check my internet connection real quick. Okay. If I'm on another screen like that, it goes black. I apologize, but that's for privacy. Sometimes I use my friends, his
screen, so it's like there's this privacy thing, which is good in a way. Let's see about. Unfortunately, I'm betting these National Guards have no live ammo. I'm betting that they don't. You know they should. Let's see there.
These motherfuckers got to go. Hey, hey.
Well, you go home. Well, you go home. You're not even supposed to be there. Is your own fucking family hitting you? Probably. It's such a retard that his own family probably hates him. Probably kicked him out of the house. He said keep it peaceful.
That guy's like,
oh, I don't want it.
I get a
black screen for that. Someone found a live. Alright.
Allahu Akbar! Takbir!
What the fuck is it saying?
Takbir! Go to Saudi! Allahu Akbar!
That is not Spanish. That's not Spanish.
Takbir!
That's not Spanish.
Takbir! Bismillahirrahmanirrahim! Bismillahirrahmanirrahim! Takbir! Go to Saudi! People are running their fucking country with no soul, man. Trump, go to Saudi Arabia to get money.
Yeah, that's Arabic.
Trump, go to Saudi Arabia to get money. Qatar, United Arab Emirates. Takbir! La ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah.
What the fuck is he doing here? He has to be illegal. He's got to be illegal. I bet he has a rap sheet. They should just arrest that guy. I bet he has a huge rap
Trump, go
sheet.
to Saudi Arabia to get money. Crypto.
Why aren't they? Here's another shot. Oh, there's other spots. Taro Aurelio. I want to go back. See what's happening here.
Westbound right now on East First Street. They just crossed Bishop.
Where'd they go?
Where'd they go to?
That is going to be Santa Fe Avenue. district, part of downtown.
Oh, Metrolink. Nice.
And you can see here they're just on the west side of First Street. They're marching on the roadway. They're marching on the sidewalk. The traffic is not impacted at all if you're headed eastbound.
I don't need all these different feeds of. Okay. Oh God. That ugly. Runner, she's an escaped mental patient, probably. I don't know. That could be misinformation, that could be right for all I know, too. Another shot right there. Somebody said that.
Wow, there's a
lot of rail lines in LA.
Boy, I'd
love to see some trains go by there.
It's
very empty.
Also,
with all those rail lines.
Wow.
Wow. That's going a lot slower than it usually is. Usually those things travel a lot faster. So they're obviously told not to go faster. They usually go faster than that. But
I also don't want to get shot. I don't know. It's a this and a that. Because they've got their fucking fingers on the triggers. Take your fucking finger off your trigger, Junior.
because of idiot mental patients like you that are on the loose. Oh, there that dumbass is right there. There's the dirty rat right there. I won't give him air time. He's just a stupid idiot. How fast is that idiot word? They're getting bolder and bolder. Okay, so I need to get rid of NBC, WIA, just to get some processing elimination here. With that, eliminating some stuff here. Look at that nut. See. I just try to get. Why do they have all these stupid channels that? They're doing the same things. It's just spam. It's just spam. They're not protests. They're just circumventing arrests from taking place. Where are they going to?
It'd be nice
It'd be nice if we hear something from the news, but
they're not
saying anything.
Got
Metro bus there.
Where are they going?
Where are they going?
That's what I
want to know. Zero Cowboys. Yeah, this is the same old Cowboys. Got degenerates there in the rats are out. I think I can kind of right here. Yeah, noisy, kind of same thing. Let's see.